growth therapy. Okay, I feel like it just hit me that this is going to be kind of an intense episode.
Is it?
Yeah, because what I want to talk about. Oh. And I'm like mentally preparing myself right now. I think I've just been getting ready and setting up and like.
I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to be on the show at period.
I know because we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's me, Stefanie Maegan, your host of Broco Therapy, and guess what? Your favorite boyfriend is here, Bryan Grace.
Hi.
Yay!
Round of applause. Yeah. And the crowd goes mild.
The horns. Every guy likes the horns.
Gotta have them.
Yeah. So I just feel so we weren't supposed to record today. I was actually supposed to record this perhaps when I get back from Jamaica.
Okay. Also,
heads up, guys, by the time this is out, I'm in Jamaica. So follow me on Instagram and see what the fuck I'm like up to. So yeah, I'm batch recording and Jess was supposed to be here today, but
Shout out to Jess.
Her car overheated.
Yes.
And so I was like, well, I need something for while I'm in Jamaica. And I literally have to edit that today and like pretty much schedule it out for next week.
Right.
So that's why.
So if you all are seeing this, then everything went successful. Everything went as planned.
Yeah, I hope so. Why would it not?
I don't know.
I get scared.
Be so nervous when you do that.
I know. I have a bad habit. I mean, is it a bad habit or is it just a...
I mean, it's not a bad habit, but it's not also like... It can be a little concerning sometimes when you're in the passenger seat and the driver keeps going.
I do like the sign of the cross 3 times.
Yeah, I'm like...
I just have to do it when I drive. Okay? When I drive, I have to do it.
Okay.
It just makes me feel like safer, you know? Yeah.
It just makes me be like, damn, should I be praying too? Like, I be worried? Like... No. You have to pray to Zed, be calling for somebody for help. Like, what's going on?
No, it's just to like protect us, you know, and protect my driving and protect, everyone around me.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we were like, I've been planning to record with you. Like, you were supposed to be like the episode after Jess.
Gotcha.
However, obviously, change of plans. So, and I've been wanting to like save this topic for when you came on, and so I guess it's like now I have to have this conversation sooner than later.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
you feel like this is something you've been avoiding having the conversation, or?
I don't know if it's been like avoiding, but it's just that, like, it's just about timing of telling people at a certain time.
Yeah.
You know. And I just was wanting to do it as kind of like the last episode. So basically, you guys, because everyone's probably like, what the fuck?
I know. I'm like, damn, I'm like, the drama is building. I'm sure people's minds are like racing and it's
like,
not.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's probably not what they're thinking, but.
Right.
This is good. You should keep it up. This is to keep the retention going here.
I know, right? But I know, if I was a listener, we're like 4 minutes in, I'd be frustrated. So basically I will be taking a break from Broco Therapy. For the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I'm going on a hiatus for the rest of 2024. And as of now, I do plan to come back next year. Yeah. So it's not like the end, it's just that I'm really taking a break.
Yeah, which is a big deal for you because you don't really do
and
that.
A long one too. Yeah. Like, not just like, okay, a couple weeks I'll be back. Like, I want to go ghost. Like, I really just want to take a moment away.
Yeah.
And that's like scary to say.
Yeah, but it's also important for you to be able to just go enjoy and live life a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, very much so, what you do is very much so like your art form and a reflection of your life, very much so the way a music artist would be. You know what I mean? Right. So a lot of times for artists, they have to go away for a while because after a certain point, you can only record, put out music, tour, shoot the music videos, do that same process over and over and over and over again before you're kind of like, well, shit, I don't even know what to talk about, or you know what I mean? It starts to feel
Right.
stale or starts to feel dry, and it starts to just feel like, oh,
Forced
yeah,
almost.
forced and just the same thing that I've been doing over and over and over again. So I think it's good for you to take that break, just like a music artist would take a break to go live some life and, you know, just kind of
Create those
have new
Yes,
experiences. Yeah, have new
exactly.
experiences, and then you can, you know, get re-inspired and come back and go from there, and you know, see
Yeah.
what happens. Or you might get inspired to do something else, and then this turns into something else. So you know what I mean, you never
Right.
know what it is. So it's just, I think
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
No, for sure. I just think, I've been doing this for so long. Like, I started in 2016, so it's been about 8 years now.
Yeah,
And, it's just like, but since 2020 is when I really have I've taken the next step and even gotten like, even, went harder at that,
yeah,
and then the last couple years, it was like, all these live shows and like, and we got to this year and it's crazy because people were just like, so what's next? So what's next? So what's next? And I
yeah,
was just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of tired of doing live shows. I'm kind of, not that I'm tired of doing live shows. Like, I always have fun when it's the
oh yeah,
moment,
for
right?
sure.
But there's so much that is obviously to prepare for it.
Yeah,
And even the twins were kind of like, oh, let's take a break from the live shows too. And it was a very mutual thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I think because there was like just such momentum, people were like, okay, they want that next, like, what's that next thing Steph's gonna do, And I just was like, sometimes I just don't want to do anything,
Yeah,
you
and I
know?
mean, but it's also kind of like me having the inside look and then behind the scenes. Y'all have been working on like a big project behind the scenes
Right.
that just nobody has seen
Right.
or heard about yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, while people are like, "What's next? What's next?" It's like,
We've
yeah,
been
we,
working on
you
it,
know, y'all are working on it, but y'all also are like sustaining your everyday life, sustaining your weekly shows that you do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
even though it's not something that is seen in terms of a live show or a merch drop or whatever the case may be, it's not like there's nothing going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because y'all have been behind the scenes grinding away on the
We've been
project. Yeah,
grinding. Yeah. And like for me, I think, I think I've mentioned previously in an episode, and I don't know if everyone has heard it, but I, talked about how there was such a shift in the industry, like the podcast industry, because there was an Apple update that really affected, downloads and numbers. And some shows were more affected than others. Mine was like heavily affected,
yeah,
And I think just kind of a little bit of a summary of what happened, usually what Apple does, and I believe like 80% of my listeners are from Apple, like,
yeah,
and the rest are like Spotify and like other things, but most of y'all are listening from your iPhones.
yeah,
And, you know, before it would just, every time I would drop, it would just kind of like, if you were subscribed or you previously listened, it would just like do that automatic download. And now it's like, if you haven't listened to the show, I think it was like 2 weeks or something, it just stops downloading. And for me, that affected my numbers because I think I've had a lot of big, one, I've been around for a long time, so there's that, but I think I've had a lot of massive surges,
yeah,
throughout the years where people, something will go viral and it like people just, find the show and then they're like binge listen to that episode or a couple episodes and they kind of just like maybe, I think especially with COVID, it's like people were at home more or whatever. And then like life started happening and people
yeah.
aren't listening to podcasts as much, and that's kind of been like a thing throughout the board is that there's not as much listening happening. And also there's so many other podcasts, like so
Yeah.
many other shows have been, made and new. And it's like, there's so much more podcasts than they were
Yeah,
when
and
I started.
I think essentially it's like the podcast bubble is burst. You know what I mean? And I think, like to your point, we talk about the pandemic or people still kind of being in pandemic mode. 2022 going into 2023, I still think that, a lot of content creators in general, not just podcasters, but people who were, taking their own content into their own hands, saw a lot of success, are now seeing like, oh shit, the kind of bubble has burst, so to speak, on that kind of content creator thing, because it's like everybody back outside, everything back in full swing. So content creators aren't just fighting for the attention from other content creators. You now got to deal with Love Island. You got to deal with movies, Deadpool. You got to deal with all these other things. Shit, the Olympics just passed. You know what I'm saying? You're competing with all these other things. You're seeing the big music artists are back and dropping and making music, going on tour. You're competing with so many other things that when you just kind of look at it too, and I'm a nerd of this shit. I'm a marketing strategist. So you look at this, it's also an election year. People are really focused on that. People may not want to hear some people talk about their relationship or sex life or stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're more concerned about the political sphere and what's going on right now. It's so many things that's going on that contribute to this inflation. You know what I mean? Even something like that. Like, there's so many factors that kind of go into it. And I think it all just kind of has come to this head of like this kind of like bubble bursting. You know what I mean? And I know for you it's frustrating and it's hard and you get maybe even a little discouraged from time to time. And I know you'll never quit because this is what you love to do and you're so passionate about it. So why do you say it like that? You plan to come back next year? Because I feel like, to me, and I could just be reading into something that's not there, but to me, I feel like that's a given. So why,
Because because I could say like a hiatus or take a break and then come back at the end of the year, or
Yeah.
Like I feel like I just want to be specific that I will be back next year, and then don't expect me to be here for the rest of the year.
Gotcha.
I mean, after this episode, I will, just because I do have some obligations I need to like fulfill.
Yeah.
There will be, a few more episodes and some bonus episodes.
Because it's 75 dildos around the house at the moment.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things I need to fulfill. Because before, when I would take breaks, I could just stop. But now it's like there's ads, there's, people on my team now who whatever. So I just like want to make sure that I'm pleasing all of the brands and stuff that like, are
just make sure all the partnerships are good.
Yeah. And
good standing.
And so, and it's also like I'm, it was kind of a hard thing to accept, I think. Like, you've seen me go through like the motions, and like I mentioned, like the Apple update like really was kind of like the start of that. And that like really, I'm going to cry probably, just like, 'cause it's who I am. That like really like fucked with me. Like, I think I started comparing my show and my skill sets to everything, to everyone, to like, why am I not this show that has this many like followings, or why am I not as big yet? And I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing this longer than a lot of other people. And, and now it feels like I have to start over again because these numbers look horrible, And so, I mean, granted, it's like, I have to remind myself, like, the numbers that I have, like, even from the beginning, like, I really wish I would have even had those, but it's still just like fucks you up when you've just been grinding so hard and have made so many like sacrifices, and then to have like this big like splurge and feel like I finally fucking make it, and then like to have the numbers, because realistically it's like, okay, the Apple update happened and fucked up a lot of like numbers and stuff, but it's now really showing like how many dedicated people are actually listening.
Yeah.
And it's not these just like extra numbers and downloads, and who knows if any of all those people were listening.
Yeah.
Now it's really showing you the actual numbers, and it went down like more than 50%, like probably down to 60, maybe some weeks and months to 70.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just feels like damn, like I worked so hard and I got that reward, and then now that just feels like it was snatched from me, and it's made me realize, like, humbled me a lot to make me realize, like, oh no, like you still have a lot of work to do. And I'm, like I'm so willing to put in that work, but it still just feels like, fuck, like,
yeah,
why can't it just be easy,
Yeah, I feel you. Now, I hate that you have to go through that and feel like that, because I see it from a totally different side of the coin. And I see it from this side of, like, again, just coming from the world of social media strategy that I work in, is all they did was flip the switch on you guys. They changed the algorithm, and that's the purpose of kind of how these platforms do things. That's how they find new stars. That's how they get new people. They flipped the button. They changed the algorithm on you guys. And like you say, for a lot of people, it felt like, damn, I got to start over. You know what I mean? But I think, and I know you and I have had this conversation before, and to any content creators out there, I think, though, that there is still a lot of power in that. You know what I'm saying? I think that whatever number that is, you realizing, okay, this is my true listener. These are my true listeners. This is my true fan base. Now let me find out more about them, and then cater my content more towards them, and then really build around them. And then eventually you can have your platforms like a Patreon or Nebula or all these other places that you can just centralize those people that will pay for your content and show up to be there. And you're not going to have to deal with the big brother aspect of, at any given moment, I can come press a button and, podcasts will completely get pushed to the background of my platform, and I'll focus on whatever the new medium is. And you know what I mean? So it's tough because, like, yes, partially, I guess some of it is like a reflection of you, you know what I mean? But I feel like a bigger part of that is just, it's platform updates, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's thing changing, the internet, it's the industry kind of catching up, you know what I mean? It in a really, like, fucked up and pessimistic sounding type of way, it's kind of like how the big machine keeps you guys in place, you know what I mean? It's like, once you guys figure out the code and you crack the code and you're like, oh shit, let's go, you know what I mean? Then it's like, okay, let's figure out how to break them. You know what I mean? I think it's this, I don't want to take this conversation too far off left, but just in talking about algorithms and the machine and how things work, I'm looking at this whole Mr. Beast situation, and everybody's talking about the Mr. Beast downfall. But if you really look at what makes Mr. Beast so good at what he does, is he knows how to master these platforms, and he knows how to master these algorithms to where that the thing is, it's not even that his content is that great. He just knows how to play the game so good that it's going to stick to the algorithm and it's going to get your attention. You know what I mean? Now that takes this conversation somewhere totally different that I know you don't want to go, or we don't want to go, because that's just me and my nerdy creator bag. But I say all that to say that I think that for you to break will be a really good thing, because I think it's going to give you an opportunity to take a step back and not just think of Broke Girl Therapy as the audio podcast, right? I think the audio podcast is something that will always be the foundation, but something that you've always had goals of and plans of for yourself was BGT evolving into something much bigger. You know what I mean? So I think that this would be the perfect opportunity for you to take some time and take a step back and take a step away from creating. And, I think that also just in your personal life, you're doing so many amazing things and thriving in that area. You know what I mean? To, like, go ahead and really, like, enjoy your flowers in that area and be like, oh man, I'm really killing this shit, and I'm really able to flex my creative muscles in a different type of way over here. So let me go do that. And you can focus on that, and you can really have that love for creating and doing what you do. And you can take what you do there and bring it back to BGT when you're ready to do what you want to do and evolve from it from there.
Yeah. And I think just like, update aside and the algorithm aside, it's just like, who I was when I started the show is different to, like, who I am
for
now.
Sure.
God, I'm so, like, crybaby. But, like, I'm so different that it's like, you know, I know that's also partially why people maybe stopped listening and outgrew the content, but, you know, and didn't grow with me, and we just parted, like
which is fine.
Friendships outgrow each other.
It
like
happens,
that could happen with like listeners too. And I also I still get so much love, and I feel like I just been so wrapped up in like my producer brain. Like for instance, for example, like I do everything on the show, right? Like I create the content, I shoot it, all this equipment is bought from my own money. I edit it later. I handle all the social media handles. Only thing I don't do is like sales with commercials and like the ads and stuff. I have a separate like agency for that. But like as far as like production, like it's just me.
Yeah.
You know? It's only me. It's just me. And and it's great because I love production. I love being behind the camera. I love being in front of the camera. I love it all. Like I want to do it all, However, like the downfall of that is that sometimes I get so much in my producer brain where like analytics matter, like thinking like, okay, this did well and this didn't, like what can we do to make it better? And that like affects me because I'm so emotionally attached to this show. Like it's my fucking everything.
Sure.
And so as someone who's like maybe a regular producer on a TV show, they could, be like, okay, and be able to like solve the problem and look at the analytics and not feel like a certain way. But to me, it like becomes personal, you know what I mean? Because it's so much of me that is on this. So it like starts to affect me in such a negative way. And I felt like, especially the last few months, have been feeling very like, oh, I'm not worthy. This is why the show's not doing well. This is why I never really blew up. This is why I never, accomplished this and this and that. And like it just like fucks with me. And it's just like taking away from like, why I did this in the first place was to connect with people, like the feeling of, for instance, like when I would call my listeners and, to have that connection, and to when I meet people at the shows and like how much it's affected them, and also interacting on social media and like helping others and all that stuff. Like, it's like I've lost that because I've been so wrapped up into like, why am I not good enough? And so it's like, yeah, creatively, like I need to, spread my wings, but I also like need to detach from all of this for a minute in order to come back correct.
Yeah. And I think not only to like
do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Not do it just because I'm like,
Yeah, not only to detach, I think too is just like, and this is really like, just in this just having this conversation, I think of what I'm seeing is I think just over and over again, I think, and I know you've talked about this on the show, we've talked about this a ton, just you and I, but I think you're also in more ways than one in your life, you're finally just kind of being forced to kind of deal with some deep down, really deep personal shit too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of like how you view yourself and how,
just
how you approach like you said, just that last thing, just like, am I not worthy? You know what I mean? I can relate to that so much. I think that I've been thinking that the last week and a half, you know what I mean? But it's like, I understand where that comes from. And I think that no matter what, how good or bad the numbers are, that'll always be there. You know what I mean? So I think that this time too is also important for you to kind of, look at that and be like, oh, why do I, we know why you take certain things so personal about the show, because this is your baby. You've literally poured everything into it. But even beyond that, just, how, some of the comments can really start to wear you down, and
it's like
and
every single day nature. I have to like delete a comment and block someone, because like every single day someone's calling me fat, every single day someone's calling me stupid or whatever, and like commenting on the way that I would look. Like, who would want to fuck her? Like, why is this for talking, and why is it, and it's sometimes it's like not even comments about me, but comments about my friends, and like and sometimes I can't be on my phone all the time to erase all the comments, but they see it and it affects them. And like, last time Rose was here, I put up, I think in the episode we talked about like her commitment issues, and we put up a clip about it. And I felt like, okay, this could be a healthy discussion, because, I want Brocal Therapy to be this space where like we're so vulnerable and honest here that like sometimes we could agree with each other, disagree, but like let's have a discussion about it. Let's empathize with each other. Let's let's therapize and all that stuff, and let people to like process that in real time on this show. And so, I put up something, and the amount of just like hate that that Rose was getting, and I was also very busy that day, so I couldn't be on my phone to like delete that stuff, whatever. So like, but I was doing the best that I can. But of course, like she's seeing it, and before, like Rose has always been very okay with whatever I put on the internet, but she started really feeling like, oh shit, and didn't really feel like I had her back in the situation, because she wanted me to say like, you guys, for more context, like watch the episode, like, because there's always more context, right? Like there's always so much more to the story than just like a 40-second clip. And so, I put that, but of course, I think I even had one comment I deleted. They're just like, I don't give a fuck. She's still And so, and I just told her, look, I was like, I would just delete it. Like, it means nothing to keep this on here. I'd rather like prioritize your mental health and, than to let these motherfuckers like feel like they have a platform to talk shit, And so, and it kind of like put this like weird, and I know she wasn't mad at me or, on anything like that. She knows I mean well, but it's still kind of like, fuck, like the internet is so fucking mean, and so 1000%. And it there's something about that, like every single day, just even seeing just like a negative comment, like when you see that stuff, it like gets to you. Yeah. And I don't want it to like have it defeat me or anything like that and have me stop doing what I love. But of course there comes a time and place where I'm just like, fuck, I need a break from all of you guys, The podcast makes me feel more like safe, because it's like if you're here and you're listening to a long form like content, then you're a little bit more invested than like a video showing up on your For You page and you don't follow me or whatever, and it was something you weren't like seeking out for. And
maybe that's the move. Like I told you, we'll take some time. I have the time. We'll take some time to go through and find your market straight. Maybe that's the thing that, when you do want to come back, maybe that's when a part of the revamp and the strategy that we have. It's not the same TikTok clips and stuff like that. Maybe we promote your show a different type of way.
Yeah, I think it needs to, because so, I feel like there's kind of a disconnect, I feel, when I look at my Instagram versus what's actually being talked about on the show. Like, I feel like on the show, like we're so much more, like it feels like therapy, you know what I mean? Like we're really like, especially with me and my friends, like we're really listening to each other. We're challenging each other. Like there's deeper like substance and connection, like when you listen. But on, on social media, and it's because it's what does well, honestly. I'm just listening to what does well. It's the ones that are just like these really super sex driven salacious, like, and that's on the show, like obviously. However, it's most of the time only just 10% of what we're talking about.
Piece. Yeah, such a small piece.
Because if you listen to it, like, for instance, with Six's episode, right? The episodes that I put out were like all these funny sex talk moments with Six, but really that was only like 10% of the show. The rest of the show, like, she talked about her mental health. She talked about like so many other things,
It's funny you say that, because I thought that, because I had listened to that episode a few days later after it came, or no, because it didn't upload to YouTube right away, right?
Yeah, because
I always watch the YouTube. So I remember thinking that, because I had saw a bunch of clips and then just obviously hearing you edit the clips.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a really like sexual episode. Like they getting in their bag on this episode. And then when I listened to it, I remember listening to it because I think I was maybe driving back from work, and I was like listening to it, and I was like, oh dang, like we 30 minutes in, they not really into the sex talk.
No, we don't. Like the sex talk comes like in the last like 20 minutes.
It was such a small piece of it. Yeah, such a small part of the episode.
Yeah, like and I feel like that's across the board, like it's almost like because my social media audience wants that.
Yeah.
But like my podcast audience like wants to hear,
enjoys the full in-depth conversations. Yeah.
So it's such a like divide, and like it's when it comes down to marketing, like I need to like learn how to like remarket the show, and it's sex will always be a part of it because it's a part of life and it's a part of the experience.
For sure.
But it's not like the only thing we talk about, but you go on my social media and it's like the only thing we talk about, and then maybe one clip comes up and it's me crying about a friend. You know what I mean? It's just, it's so different from what's actually on the show. And it's because I've just been catering to what people want from me on there versus what I actually want to put out.
Yeah.
And I sometimes feel like it, on social media just doesn't excite me because I'm like, it doesn't, maybe now I'm realizing this in real time, but it doesn't feel the most authentic to me, to keep talking about that on social media. And I think there's so much more depth to me as a person, as a content creator, and to like the people on the show, And I mean, for instance, like, I don't know if you overheard my convo with Six, but, I was putting out those very obviously sex driven content on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And she hit me up and she was like, because I posted one about, her and the mirror, and they were like making eye contact while they're fucking in the mirror.
Yeah.
And she hit me up and she was like, I'm going to be honest, like I'm feeling really weird about these clips that are just so like about my sex life. And she's like, I know I'm very open, but now I'm feeling like I want to keep some things private.
For sure.
And so, we talked about it, and she's like, look, she's like, on the podcast, she's like, I don't care. Like, I'll say that shit, like, on the pod. Like, I don't care. It's like when it's on social media, it feels different. She's like, before when I was younger, I didn't care. She's like, but now I'm kind of growing into this space where she's like, I kind of want to keep some things to myself.
Yeah, well, it's like if you're talking about like, in the grand scheme of things, you may be talking about a sexual encounter that you have with a person that's just a small piece of a bigger conversation about this journey that you've been on in the last few years. You know what I mean? And then it's cut down to 10 seconds, and then people just take that 10 seconds and they can just kind of like try to use that to be like, oh, that's who that person is, or that's what they're about. You know what I mean? So I definitely get where, I get her.
Exactly. And so, immediately without hesitation, I like archived it right then and there. And I was like, it's whatever you want me to be taken down. And now moving forward, I'm going to ask like everyone that's on the show, especially if it's something that's like scandalous that we're talking about, that like, is it okay if I post this? Because I feel like before, like we all didn't care. We were out here like, ha, hee, put that shit out. But now I think not just me, but like Rose and Six, we're all kind of growing, into it, like
getting into the next stage.
Stage of our lives where we're like a little bit more mindful, and and I, even for me with like the sex content, I'm like, I don't want to just be like a sex content creator. I'm like a full advocate for being, sexually liberated and all those things. Like that'll always be there, but I'm like, I'm so much more than that, you know? And I really just, when I come back, like I really just want to showcase that, in a different way. So yeah. And it just, I also just like want to miss it. I want to miss this, and I want y'all to miss me too. You know what I mean? Like you got the insight every week. You listen, I'm sure, I like distance makes the heart grow fonder a little bit, like we need a little break. So, and I just feel like a part of me too, is just like feeling very like going back to like being creative. I definitely want to tap in like to the other creative parts of me, like we've talked about this, but with music has always been like my first love, like singing, like karaoke, all that stuff has always been just before the podcast, and thankfully Kalina has invited me to the studio with her, and I, she says she's going to continue to invite me. So I definitely just want to like tap into like, you know, music, and maybe can I write something, and like how, like I want to feel that spark, you know?
Yeah.
And I, you know, even going to the studio with her the other day, you know, I didn't make anything, but I was just there kind of just vibing out with everyone. It was just dope to be around artists in a different format, you know? Like I've been in my podcast bag, I've been with the twins, I've been with other, you know, creators in similar spaces, but to be with, you know, musicians and to like tap into that again, you know, it was like, it was exciting.
Yeah.
And it was also like nerve-wracking because in podcasting I feel so confident because I've been mastering this, right? But with music I felt shy, and it's because, you know, it's a new challenge. And so I definitely just want to see what that looks like. And I'm not saying now I'm gonna become like a musical artist. I don't know. I'm just saying like there's power in just, you know, flexing your muscles in different avenues and just seeing, you know, what works, especially because it's like, no matter what it is, it's storytelling in different mediums.
And you don't need to always create to like put it out for people.
Right.
I remember I was like, again, I always go back to my favorite documentary of all time was Defiant Ones and Dr. Dre. And there's this whole
shout out to Nina, who was actually
shout out to Nina,
worked on that documentary.
But no, there's a whole bit where Dr. Dre is talking about, you know, just the whole thing of him, and they talk about, oh, when are you gonna put out a new album? When you putting out new music? When you gonna put out a new solo album? And you know, he was just kind of saying like, yeah, people just think I don't like make music or I'm not doing. He's like, bro, I create music every day, but I do it for myself. It's like I don't do it to put it out for anybody else. I love being able to go and just make some shit that just I love, that just I'm gonna listen to. You know what I mean? I think that every creator in their heart, that's the thing that fuels them, is being able to just freely do whatever it is that you want without bounds. I was just watching this Andre 3000 video where it talks about how, and you know, when you see his life laid out, you're like, damn, I see how as a creator, you've gone from rapper to just being like, nah, like playing this flute is fucking therapy for me.
Right.
Like I love it. Like I love to just go out and be on the corner and strip my ego away and just perform for strangers on the street.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just, I feel like at creators' core, that's what it is being able to, you know, have that passion, get lost in it, but then also rediscover it in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm in that, like, here I go, I'm tearing up.
Well, because it is a mourning period too, like, because it is like a death of one thing to be rebirthed as something else, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like, I know I've been like needing this like break for so long, but I've just been like hanging on because I've been scared.
Yeah.
And like, and also because like I do love it. Like in this moment, like I love it. You know, it's like everything else that like comes with it is what's like gets in the way, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's definitely like a mourning period of just like, oh, I'm gonna miss it, you know?
Of course.
And like, but I need to miss it.
Yeah. But again, then maybe
just, like,
maybe in those moments you can
like
create
a quitter
for yourself
too, you know? Like there is that side that feels like a quitter. Like,
no, not at all though, because you're not quitting.
I know, but it's like, oh, I'm not putting out episodes. I'm letting all this shit like get in my way. Like it you know, there's a part of me that feels like a quitter.
No, you got to take that space for yourself though.
Yeah.
Going nonstop, like you said, live shows, nonstop episodes, just everything, and working like regular 9-to-5 jobs too.
Yeah.
So,
and it's been like
a
lot, but also like my life has been feeling very great too. Like I don't want to like not knock that. And like I said, you know, I'll be honest, because she told me I could say it, and so if you're here at this point, then you're invested. But I've been doing social media for Tia Mori, the sister.
Yeah.
And
med school. If
you guys watch the game, I never watched the game.
Yeah.
And I told her that, she was like kind of offended. So I'm like, I probably should go watch it.
We do have to watch it because I personally love that show. So
yeah, I told her that you loved it.
You got to watch it.
And she was just like she was so like.
It was a thing though. Like back. I'm surprised you didn't watch it because it was a thing.
She's like She's like,
it was a huge.
It's
thing.
a good show.
No,
like,
yeah, it
good.
was a big thing for a minute.
Yeah. I think at that time in my life, I wasn't really watching a lot of TV, to be honest.
And I also say the game was hurt by just being on the CW.
Yeah.
If it was on a bigger like network, I think it would have been that much bigger. But so you've been working for Tia. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So no, you're good. So I've been working for Tia, and I've been working with her for a while now. And I've been doing her like literally. I've been strategizing, coming up with concepts, shooting it, editing it, collaborating with her. Like, she's very hands-on, and just because I'm handling it doesn't mean that she's not hands-on. Like, she's very like, we talk every single day.
Collaborative effort.
Yeah, we talk literally
effort,
like majority text messages are probably from Tia at this point. And so we're very it's a very collaborative thing. And so we've really have been like enjoying creating together, to the point if you look at her comments, they're like, oh my God, who's doing this, who's shooting this, who's and she's like, feel free to reveal yourself, but I've been enjoying the animosity of it.
You like to play the secret
I was like let them wait, like I don't want to give away too much, you know what I mean, right. Like I was like let them let me show you more what I can do and get you even more hyped about it, and I think that's what it is like, it's not just like doing social media with her. Like, she's also, if you guys look at her or follow her on Instagram and TikTok, like she is a content creator, honestly. And she's an actress, and she's like, she really enjoys like doing this stuff. And so, it's been really fun to just not be like the center focus and to really just be creative and come up with like really random shit. And just see like what works and what doesn't, that's outside of just like vocal therapy, and it's almost like, it almost feels like, I think Nina even said this too. She's like, it almost feels like you're doing like an improv and you're just like coming up with like a skit all the time. Yeah. Like and that's what it feels like. And it really does feel like I'm like, sometimes I feel so stressed because I'm just like, how the fuck am I gonna come up with now more content? Like this feels crazy, but then I always end up making like better shit because I'm like being challenged, and I think that's
don't you love that? I feel like it's such a different side of like creating and being a creator. You know what I mean? Because I almost feel like I don't know. I've struggled with my own creativity and what I do, but I feel like I almost prefer to not be the person that's on the camera or the person that's talking. Yeah. I know that there's some people that just absolutely are going to hate to hear that, but where I am just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like being just the person with the ideas and coming up with the execution.
Both, like I love this, and I love tapping into like being the person that drives the conversation and all those things. Yeah. And I love that. And I also love giving direction to someone else and having them execute it and be so good at it. And you're like, fuck, like, like, what more can we like do together? You know what I mean? And it does remind me of like my childhood because, if you've seen some of my home videos, like a lot of it was like,
Good Morning Valencia. Or was it Wake Up Valencia or Good Morning Valencia?
Wake Up Valencia.
Wake Up Valencia. Yes.
Like there's, home videos of me in front of the camera. And again, I'm doing like, it's the same thing that I do now. There's me doing Wake Up Valencia and talking about how to convince my parents to get me a dog. Almost like how I would convince Bryan to get me a cat. But like I would just talk about random shit. Obviously I'm like 9, so like nothing was really like notable. But but I just love just being, sometimes I would like review albums and review like Britney Spears's album and whatever, certain songs, and just sing to it. And then there's the other side of it where like Rhett, right? My brother Rhett, who is like also very like theatric in, is a performance.
Yeah, performer, yeah.
Like he, loves music, and he also, loves acting and stuff like that. So then I would always like tell him what to do, and he would always just be very responsive and like do it, And so I would film him a lot of times too. And then, but no one would ever film me. I filmed myself, because they didn't care to film me. Like, it was always me with the camera, either filming myself or filming someone else. Yeah. So I think that's just like a prediction of who I am, you know?
Yeah.
And like still it's I mean that's like that little girl. It's gotta be
Sure.
when you talk about inner child, it just gets me. So, you know, it's like that's kind of what I'm doing with Tia is like what I would do with my brother, where it was like, I mean, I remember even like writing scripts for my brother sometimes and just having him act it, and you know, he would just do it just because he had nothing else to do. And so
you guys had a whole movie.
we had a whole movie. We've had several movies, and I've created and produced an award show about all the movies we've done. Like I've even done that and did performances, and they did so. You know, it was, and when Rhea and her brothers in town, and my cousins were there, I was definitely using them as like little, you know, actors and people to like play with and all that stuff.
You gotta put that footage out one day in like the BGT documentary or something.
For sure.
The world got to see that because it's too good for. And
you haven't even seen like all of it.
I know. I've probably only seen an hour, or an hour and a half or so with just when we were at your dad's house.
Yeah, like you've really just seen just like a little bit, but there's like, I mean, I had to ship my dad a whole basket of just tapes, you know, because that was how much content I was like producing as a kid.
Videos,
you know, but also my dad was, and I get it from my dad because he was always documenting everything. So he was, you know, recording us playing and, you know, or just at home or whatever. So my dad was the one that was already just kind of like creating that habit, you know, and that experience for us. And I just was just doing, you know, what I was saying and then getting creative with that. So I guess going back to Tia, it was like she has given me, oh my God, I'm gonna cry, a lot of confidence because I've been fired from every job, okay? And with Tia was like this like spark of just like, oh shit, you know? And I remember Nathan was there because I hired him as like a second shooter, but I remember like we were shooting something and I was in the middle of what I was doing, whatever, and she just like looked at me, she's like, I just want you to know you're the director right now, like you're in the director role. And I was just like, what do you mean? She's like, this is what directors do, and you're literally like, just, she's like, I just want to let you know because like you're really doing it, and you're killing it right now, you know. And so I was like, oh shit. And like that kind of just made me like feel very confident what I was doing. And, you know, and she always gives me that reassurance of just like, you are so talented. Like, she's like, I love these videos. I'm having so much fun. People are loving it, you know. And so we've been really, you know, so far it's been great, you know, with her. And so, and I'm going to Jamaica with Tia. So for those who are listening now, I'm in Jamaica. But yeah, so it's just, I've been able to like really tap into like a different side of me that I'm like, damn, like I feel like I'm having more confidence. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, Broco therapy has been kind of fucking up my confidence a little bit. You know, like I feel confident in this space where I'm at currently, like on the mic, in front of the camera, all that stuff. Yeah. But like with the numbers and the comments, like that's what's like ruined my confidence.
Like bringing you down.
It brings me down. Yeah. So it's nice to like, you know, be further reminded of just like of what my capabilities are.
Yeah.
And so it just makes me feel like, okay, well, damn, like that's why I do want to take a break, because I want to like really explore, you know, what else I want to do. And there are like for BDG, I still have so much like goals and stuff that I want to work on, and I'm still working on, and you know, things that I'm even starting, and I'm just like, I need a moment to just hit refresh.
Yeah. Take a break.
Come back, you know, and if you guys end up coming back when I'm back, then like, fuck you, I love you. And if you don't, then that's okay. And like, if the new version that's remarketed or whatever doesn't suit you, and I think that's fine too. And I just have to like, feel like I'm getting towards a place where I'm just like, you know what? I don't care if you stop, or if you're, you know, and if you're still here, like that's what I'm going to care about.
Because you want the right people to be there ultimately. Yeah.
Right. It's almost like when I've had to go through like my friend cleanses, right? When I've had to, I've grown out of these friendships and had to get rid of these friendship, you know, these long time friendships that I've had with people, to now open a space for people who like do get me, who do resonate with me. And it's almost like that is what is needed for the show, is like, you know, I'm going to have to do things differently. And that may like not be cool for some people, but it'll resonate with those who, you know, are still growing the same road that
we're on the same path as you.
Right. So yeah. So that's that. Yeah. Anything else? Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's all. Woosah.
Woosah. What's woosah?
That's what it said. It said that this like super blue moon tomorrow, your sign is going to be affected.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of what you're talking about goes into that.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Yeah, so.
You're fixed signed, Aquarius. I learned that last night.
Yeah, and you're cardinal sign.
Yeah.
So, shout out to astrology. So, yeah, I'm just I'm excited now. Like, I think I remember before I even like told myself I was going to take a break, it was like in denial, you know? And now I feel like that I've said it out loud and accepting it. It feels like I'm excited.
It'll be for the best ultimately.
Yeah, and I want to come back like fucking different, you know? Yeah. Not different, but I'm still going to be me. Like, I'm still going to be the same fucking person.
Just feeling good about
just feeling
what
good.
You're creating. Yeah.
Yeah, and just feel like I'm not just knocking out content just to knock shit out, you know? Like, I want to come back with, like, more intention.
Yeah,
and
feeling re-energized.
Yeah, and excited, and also just, like, not giving a fuck, you know? Like, I've been giving too many fucks lately, and I just want to, like, you know, as a creator, it's, you really, like, there has to be a space where you just kind of don't give a fuck about the noise, you know, and just like be your biggest fan. And so I like just need to go back to that. Like I almost like miss that, the early years of Brocal Therapy, even though I never thought I would, because it was the early years. But the early years where it was like no one was listening, there wasn't pressure, you know. If anything, it was just like pure excitement and joy just to create something, just to like put something out, something to call mine. Like it was just like so pure, you know, and it wasn't affected by the outside noise. It just was so like genuine, you know, and like I want to go back to that feeling. And but obviously in a more bigger way and growing.
I get what you're saying.
But you know what I mean? But yeah, I want to like get back to reminding myself why I am doing this in the first place. So yeah, there'll be a few more episodes after this, and then I will be done. I'll be done for the rest of the year. Probably I would say I don't have the exact date yet, but I would assume mid-September.
Yeah.
So a few more weeks. So yeah. Okay. I love you. Thank you for listening.
Of course.
And always supporting me from day one, literally.
Of course. Well, not technically day one.
But. Well, 2017. That's like, you were like probably one of the first like fans of the show.
Yeah. It was a trip the other night, like you and Six being here.
Why?
Recording. Because I was just thinking like, damn, that's crazy. Like, you know. That was my introduction to you, was you and Six.
That
talking,
is.
You know.
Yeah, and you liked the episode too.
No, whenever you and Six, it's like a I don't know how to explain it, because like you guys haven't broken up, but it would be like if fucking Rory and Maul went back on the Joe Budden podcast. Where it's just like, you know what I mean? Where it's just kind of like,
it's like, damn, they're back together.
And I don't want like the newer guests to feel like they're not as. But
but
it's that's what I'm saying. It's a little different when it's like you and Six, or you and HK, or you and I'm sorry, I don't mean that. Keeks now. I apologize. I don't want to get nobody's name wrong. But no, like when you were like the OGs, like, Jessica when we have Jessica Clark on,
and the OGs
like,
will still be here. Like
Yeah.
I continue, like that will never like change.
it's
you
just
know?
like, for me, it's just like, oh, you
unless
already
we stop being friends.
like, no, it's just like, but I already know what those episodes are gonna be like.
Right.
I already know that, you know what I mean, because there's so much history and connection and love and respect and
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean? So it's like I always look forward to those episodes. Not saying I don't look forward to your episodes with other guests, but it's just like, those is like the
It's like comfort. It's
yeah,
like
it's
you
the,
feel like,
that
oh, okay.
core. Yeah, it's like when I watched Steph Curry hit a 3. It's like, oh man, I remember that feeling like 2017 when you hit it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Boy
It's just-
math. Boy,
yeah.
boy common
That's what I'm
sense.
saying. In my brain, that makes sense. But, yeah.
I was like, these are the ladies that are listening.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean, like, I'm sure they're into sports too. Someone resonated, or someone's man is listening. It's like, oh yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, what's great is that Six does live in LA now. So whenever we do come back, like there will be more of her.
Yeah.
And I still like with the OGs and my friends on here. I definitely still want that, like the core of the show, right? Like the friendship, like that.
Yeah.
That will always like be here. Like that won't go away, And so unless we stop being friends.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because it's
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I know.
I think the people that were leaving are.
I know. But
Alright,
like I've lost a couple OG
No, I feel
friends that
you.
have been on the air, but there's been some people who were on
I
the
feel
show
you.
regularly that I don't really talk to
yeah.
like that. So that's what I'm saying. So I hope, and I think we're fine, but I just hope nothing like that happens.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Don't leave me, guys. Anyways, you want to plug yourself? Any last words? Any goodbyes and hiatus?
For me, no. I will be taking an unwanted hiatus from working. I was laid off.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be
But it's okay.
getting my shit together in that standpoint. But no, I think again, similar.
You want to
to
talk about it?
I just think similar to your situation. I think it's for the best. It just wasn't.
Yeah,
It
no,
wasn't
you
a
didn't
great
need to be
situation.
there.
Yeah, it wasn't a great situation. I was able to make a lot of money, which I liked, but it just
But
wasn't a great
you'll
situation.
make that money and more.
That's the goal. That's the
So-
plan. So
So I think it would be fine.
yeah. So I mean, that's my hiatus. I think.
For hiatus from the 9 to
Yeah,
5.
yeah. So but no. In that meantime, I think too, I just want to get back to kind of healing myself. Yeah, it's some things I think I got to work on. Just in talking with Danny, I'm going to work with Danny a lot, and then even like talking to my therapist yesterday. Just kind of put my own healing back on the forefront of things.
Yeah.
While I'm not working, because it is something that I just really always struggle to do when I'm working.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really gonna have to figure out how to balance the two out. But
Yeah. You got this. I believe in you.
thank you. I appreciate your support.
Of course. Okay. Well, you guys, I'm going to miss you.
OnlyFans coming soon. We got to pay the bills some way.
No.
Make sure y'all subscribe.
I mean, I'm just kidding. Nah. But I mean, follow me on, like, just because I'm not posting here, don't mean I won't be like on my personal social media.
And I feel like with you not
know?
doing BGT, it'll be like.
I'll probably be on my stories more, being
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
like,
Yeah, I feel like there will be more. Like there will be more of you, more social presence outside of just the clips, because you'll be able to kind of like not have to be attached to the negativity
right,
so much. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I'm just gonna be like on my stories, just being
Yeah.
lit, like
Just
just,
enjoying-
having
just-
a good
yeah,
time.
enjoying
and also
yourself.
like I'm in Jamaica right now, so you should go.
Jealous. We're all jealous of you right now. But you deserve the trip too.
I know.
So I'm glad you get to enjoy it.
I'm excited. Okay, well, you guys, I'll miss you. Well, there's a few episodes left still, so you'll have a little bit more. But follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to brocotherapy.com. All that shit is there. I love you guys. Tell me what you think. Did you relate? Did you not? You don't give a fuck? You gonna miss me? I want to know. I need
I'm gonna miss
validation.
you. I'll miss it. I'll miss BGT.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Love you guys. Bye. Growth therapy.